Nation Quad Cities, but first, the Dawn. Everybody, it's Friday the 13th here in the Hassel Castle, and just a wave of emotions in the past. I'd say, let's say 18 hours. An incredible night last night. And then we just had what happened on ESPN, and we'll get to all that. In studio with me is Merrick Brave from SEW Pro and Ryder from Left Arm of God. Did I got that right?
Yeah, and also the Finsider, P-H-I-N,
that's right,
S-I-D-E-R, the Finsider, man. Killing it over there. I'm not one to toot my own horn.
Yeah.
Actually, I am, but... every article I've put out for the Finsider has been the number one article for the day.
Really?
Just saying.
So, how have you got? I mean, the last time you were here, you got a lot of. I do not like this.
Yeah.
Have you been continuing to be the contrarian or the heel writer for them, or how have you been doing it?
I think no matter what you write, you're going to be the heel writer because this is how our society works nowadays.
Sure.
Is everyone either is firmly planted on this side or firmly planted on the other side, and nobody wants to listen to each other's arguments.
Okay.
So instead, the people who agree with me think I'm the best writer ever,
Yep.
and the people who disagree with me call me stupid and an idiot,
Sure.
and they hate me.
All the things I say behind your back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right? Well, sometimes you text them to me too, but
Good night, sweet dreams. By the way, I hate you.
but yeah. So I mean, you got to keep it real. You got to report the news. You don't make stuff up. You're reporting what's actually happening. So if people are like, most of the hate comments are like, it's early. What are you talking about this for? It's only training camp. The games haven't even started yet. And it's like, yeah, but it's happening, and that's all we have to talk about. I can't talk about week 4 against the Tampa Bay Bucks until week 4 against the Tampa Bay Bucks happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
I get what you're saying, and it's funny that you say that because there's always time, and I have to reach out to Caker to have him in, but we always do a preview show before the season starts, and we'll do things like over-under bets for the Big Ten, what we like, but also I always ask him every year, what is going to create the civil war in Iowa fan base? And let's pass starting quarterback, because that's always the first one. So we always has one topic, and actually it goes, is Kirk Ferentz paid too much money? That's usually the one, like we need to fire him or he needs to be let go, blah, blah, blah. And then it's usually starting quarterback. But I want the one that's what's really going to be the Civil War.
Oh, you know the one this year.
Yeah.
The one this year.
What?
Iowa's the only Big Ten school who does not have a mask mandate
for
their games.
There you go.
That's the one.
But that's not going to create the Civil War. I'm talking about
But it might, though, because there's going to be people who say they should enforce a mask mandate, and there's going to be plenty of people who say, no, we don't want it.
The Iowa football team. That's the University of Iowa or the state of Iowa.
But it affects the football team.
Yeah, well, if the numbers are up, and which, by the way, I used to get, I guess they're not in school yet. Every Monday, we usually get a COVID update from the University of Iowa athletic department, like how many got tested, how many positives there are, and so that's something to be paying attention to as well because it might affect things. But that being said, you've obviously already gotten over that hump when you're writing, because that's the one thing. If we talk to Emily and even to like Costs or any local or the guys even at the television station, you have to get over that, knowing that the fear of like, well, what's the backlash here?
Sure.
And there are times I still don't. Like,
yeah, no, I'm not going to say that none of the comments bothered me. I did laugh at most of them and think they were funny, but I do think 18 years in the wrestling business prepared me for things like that because, there were plenty of times where I had people yelling at me, screaming at me, telling me I'm awful and this, that, and the other. Usually they were yelling at my character and not me as a human being. So there is a little bit of an adjustment
put a lot
there.
Of work into that, though.
Yeah. So I think I just will embrace this, you termed it, a heel writing persona.
Love it.
And as long as the engagement stays high, the comments stay high, the clicks stay high, then y'all can kiss me where the sun don't shine.
That's right. Yeah, it's just weird. Like I've been following a lot of the Downport Southeast Little League team and writing a lot about them because I'm fortunate enough to have contacts in there. And even when I'm writing like something like, and he's got a 1.03083 OPS, he leads the teim, and I'm like, there's going to be like a dad somewhere that's like, actually, Game Changer's wrong. Where are you getting your stats from? Because I have that in my head, but I'm like, just write it. Who cares? Like these kids are in there. By the way, when I say riding the waves of up and down, whatnot, That game that they had just played in the consolation final of the Midwest Regionals, Davenport Southeast Little League against Hastings, Nebraska, was a great game. It showed a lot about Little League, and they had a runner on second. It would have been a tying run, 2 outs, bottom of the 6th, and the outfielder just made an incredible catch for Nebraska. That if he doesn't catch that run's definitely coming in, and that kid gets extra bases. He makes the catch. Hats off to Nebraska. Hats off to Davenport Southeast Little League for making that far. They lost on Saturday. They won back-to-back games. Nebraska really fought through this as well. It was just a good game, and it just shows what Little League is. And the kids fought back. They were down 1-0, then they tied it. They were down, and then they got the guy in running position, in scoring position.
Nothing to be ashamed of for those kids.
Nothing at all. They should be proud of, and Downport Southeast has a lot to be proud of. And the crazy thing is that team could be back, but how the age thing works by days, and it's not like by year. So like my daughter, when she plays USSSA, like it starts by the first of the year. Baseball's like somewhere in August. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So their majority of that team would be back because they majority of them are 11-year-olds. Yeah. This is 12U, but because of that cutoff, they don't make it next year because they turn 12 before the cutoff. So anyway, hats off to them, and Southeast Little League does a great job. I'm sure they'll reload and they'll be right back in there. By the way, Southeast Little League won the 12, 11, and 10-year-old state titles, and that's like first time that happened since like 1975.
Wow.
So obviously they've got talent coming up there. Ups and downs. So by the way, every time you walk into this studio, Merrick, something big's going on. And you got something big for us today. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
You got something big for us today.
Hey, man, I had to make it happen. So
Yep.
I have some friends. I have some connections with the Dolphins beat. And today we will have on at 1 o'clock our time, we will have on the longest tenured Miami Dolphins beat writer, my friend Omar Kelly. He has been covering Dolphins versus Bears practice all week long. He'll be covering the preseason game this Saturday at noon on NFL Network, by the way, so you can watch that.
Mm-hmm.
He's got some great insight on my team, the Dolphins, obviously, but he's also got some great insight on the Bears and how Justin Fields is looking, and he graciously agreed to come on air with us today,
Sure.
So very, very, very excited about that.
And what's his name again?
Omar Kelly.
Okay, Omar Kelly. And go follow him on Twitter at Omar Kelly. Look him up on Facebook and everything else. And like you said, he's the longest tenured beat writer for the Miami Dolphins. He's been up in Hallis Hall all week long, so he will be able to answer Bears questions and also.
I was this close to joining him in Hallis Hall.
Yeah,
this close, very, very, very close. I got a message asking if I could make it in yesterday morning, 5 minutes before practice started. So I don't know if they thought I was living in northern Chicago there. Yeah. Clearly I'm not. So it would have been about,
you close, and Chicago is never your close.
Yeah. Even if I lived in Chicago, I'd have been quite late to practice, but I was 2 hours and 45 minutes away. Practice was only 2 hours long. So unfortunately I missed my chance to be standing 3 feet away from Tua Tagovailoa, which would have made me very excited.
All right. I'm excited for that interview. Last night was I did not see that coming.
What?
I read. I probably did just as much as I probably did more than the average person of doing research about what this was going to be like, and I still was like, no big deal. I want to watch the beginning. That was incredible.
What?
The production, the gameplay, everything. Fox Sports and MLB made that a World Series atmosphere and above.
Oh, yeah. It knocked it out of the park, pun intended there. Multiple home runs got knocked out of the park.
Yeah.
It was a great game.
Actually, 15 out of the 16 runs scored, or 16 out of the 17 runs scored were off of home runs.
And those balls were flying out to right field, disappearing in the corn, which was phenomenal.
That's what happens when you use the old dimensions of the original Comiskey from
sure
1910 to 1990.
Somebody should have told me that before I started Lance Lynn in fantasy. But you nailed it right on the head. Production was phenomenal. They had the old Field of Dreams score as Kevin Costner's walking through the corn, and then he comes out and what a pro, right? What a pro. He milked it for all it was worth. He stopped as soon as he got out the corn, and he slowly lifted his head and he surveyed the scene and looked at everyone in the crowd and almost looked like he might have had some tears underneath those sunglasses he was wearing. Took a few more steps. took the glasses off so everyone could see into
that he was taking
eyes.
In the moment that it wasn't. And
slow
he
saunter.
Wants to see it with his 2 eyes, nothing, no filter.
Slow saunter right to the edge of the infield.
Yep.
Camera pans left. You see the corn behind him, and then what happens? The White Sox and the Yankees players come through the corn, materializing out of the stalks of corn there, to a big ovation from the fans.
Sure.
And then he shakes all the hands of the players as they're coming up, and then he goes out and he gives the speech and ends the speech on, is this heaven?
Yeah.
No, it's Iowa.
Ah, fantastic.
Woo! Goosebumps!
Yeah, nailed it.
Oh, my God.
Good work, everybody. Let me tell you something.
And the old school scoreboard, the manual operated scoreboard, and then the little score track thing in the bottom right-hand corner of the Fox broadcast with every time a run would be scored, it would look like they would have like a digital, like a piece of wood being placed on there. Just everything about it was fantastic. And then the game was phenomenal as well.
Absolutely.
Only complaint.
Sure.
My only complaint was that I wish they would not have put the Nike logo on a uniform and the New Era logo on the hats. That is literally my only complaint.
Yeah, and you know how small that is.
Sure.
But I get it. I get what you're saying. But boy, oh boy, I was just caught into the game no matter what. And that's a great thing for them. Like, to me, to just want to stare deep into the game and then to catch every I mean, I wanted to be back for at every commercial break. I wanted to make sure my eyes were on there for anything. It had nothing to do with if they're going to show, people will come, Ray. And I know I said it over and over again, but everything. And I said, like, then they show the field, and I'm just like, oh. So finally I go to social media and I say, like, listen, I said I was not going to post about this game, but that field is gorgeous. Like,
absolutely.
Unbelievable. And then this is where people, like, read and they don't read. They read fast. I said on Facebook that I said I wasn't going to post about Field of Dreams game, and I said I wouldn't pay $900 to go to this game, but now I just posted about it, and I would have, knowing after seeing this atmosphere. People were like, send pictures. I was like, no, you're not reading it right. I just posted about it. Now I'm regretting that I didn't. I mean, it's not like I probably wouldn't have paid $900, but at the time I was in full regret. Like, oh my goodness.
One of my favorite movies growing up, not to get too personal, but I had a stepfather who passed away when I was 11 years old.
Okay.
And that we watched that movie together multiple times when I was a child. And he actually kind of resembled Kevin Costner in appearance. So I've always connected that movie to that part of my childhood. He was a great man. So I would have paid anything they asked to get to that game. I wish I could have been there. But, watching it at home on TV was amazing as well. I tweeted out that I was proud to be in Iowa. Last
100%.
Night. I think we all were.
Yeah, not to even be like, get where you get emotional, but like to the idea that even recently I lost my father. I haven't even thought about that till you just said that, because I can't imagine now watching the end of that movie. But now just looking at it, I mean, I don't know how many times I said, and I got to play fast pitch with my dad. I got to play around the Midwest with my father, and it doesn't matter if it's in Seton, Illinois, or if it was in Burlington, Iowa, or whatever else. I got to play ball with him, and a lot of times I caught him. And majority of the time, I would say, before he warmed up, "Hey, Dad, you want to have a catch?" Just one of those things.
Yeah.
But now I haven't even thought about that. I feel I don't think it's just that movie is so much, and I've seen that movie hundreds of times, and to even the quote, like, now I have a son, and when I'm like, hey, you want to go play catch? He says, no. I've looked back and I'm like, can you believe that? A son telling his own father no, that he doesn't want to play catch, like, and everyone's in the house is like, huh? And I'm like, nothing? I don't get anything for that?
Right.
So, I mean, those are only, like, lines that from the Field of Dreams that, people that have seen a lot that know it. I mean, everyone knows, is this heaven? No, it's Iowa, and if you build it, he will come, which I said yesterday was voted 39th out of 100 by American Film Institute, best lines ever. But then you've got that Iowa sunset, and they just don't stop showing it, and I'm so happy they didn't, because it was just like, this is gorgeous. The backdrop, you don't have city lights, you don't have skyscrapers, you don't have anything. They did Iowa so good, and before
they really did.
I mean, there was people out there. I know, friend of the show, Todd Brownkamp in Cedar Rapids. He's like, I get it. Like, people would be like, why that aren't from here? They pretty much were like, oh, they're in the sticks or the blah, 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 corn, Iowa, is this potato place? And people are going to say that. There's no way that anyone watched that in America went and said, like, oh, why did they do in Iowa? They were like, next year?
Yeah,
sign me up.
We get it.
Can we do it? Like,
and I started thinking about that, and like your initial reaction is, yeah, we have to do it next year, but I almost want them not to. Okay. Like, I don't want them to never come back. I want to make it more like an Olympics thing, like once every 4 years, so that it doesn't lose its luster, and that it's not just, oh yeah, there's another one of those games out in the corn in Iowa.
I'm with you, like, for that. I am 100%
something we can look forward to.
I don't know why it sticks to me like this, because they're going to do 2022, and I think it's just always like even years. But I would, if they're going to do it, do one more, and then be like, we're going to do it every 2 years. Yeah. But the thing about it is, there's been so much about what are they going to do with it. Seems like a shame and all that stuff. And Rossi he alluded 2 days ago, the manager of the Cubs, that he's like, yeah, there's plans for the Cubs to play there in 2022. Costner said in the interview, sitting there with Joe Buck and John Smoltz, he said, this is not a one-time thing. This is an annual event. From his mouth, it wasn't like, hey, you know what Major League Baseball should do?
Right.
He flat out said, this is not a one-time thing. This is an annual event. And if they can keep coming back and he keeps coming back, that's great. Now, for friends of the show, Easer A's, who lives there, I hope it's an annual thing. Because I told him, if they announce it's coming back, if they announce the Cubs-Cardinals like everyone thinks it's going to be, they're speculating, I said, clean up that house, take pictures, put it on Airbnb, and rent that out for a week.
For
in
sure.
a heartbeat. Because
Make a
if
lot
you
of
live
money.
there, you could do that, and people want to go to after last night, and you're a diehard fan that has that disposable income, and you want to take your family, and if they do make it a 5-day event, and we live in a society that is actually post-COVID, a PC, not in a politically correctness, but an actual PC, that they can have a 5-day event, and you have that disposable income, you're taking that family for 5 days.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then you're going to things. You can go into Dubuque and see where they filmed it. You can go to Western Dubuque. If you're Western Dubuque, you give a tour for that auditorium scene where she sits there and says, all right, Beulah, you want to step outside? All that stuff. You can go down to where the hotel that they stay at, which is off of 61.
Hotel
just south
Julian, right?
No, the scene where him and
yes.
that hotel where he calls her and he's like, I'm with Moonlight Graham. She's like, the author. That's just south of 61. You can make a tour of that things. Yeah. But not even that. Like, I think it's great for the city of Dyersville. Fox, congratulations. Major League Baseball, congratulations. You did Iowa proud. Iowans, you did Iowa proud. And there's just no way anybody walked out of that going, oh, a bunch of hicks in the sticks or anything like that. That was incredible. And then you have the walk-off.
Yeah. And the game matched it, too.
It's one of those things that I'm so into it that in my head, it's one of those things you wish you would call it and you just be like, hey, but I said he's going yard. All right, we have a phone call. Hopefully, it's not like how's your insurance? Listen, ESPN 1170. Yeah.
Oh, they hung up.
All right. Well, if someone just called in, go ahead and call back in. Sorry if it took too long. But yeah, then you have the walk off too, and you have Tim Anderson, and he said, and why I don't have this quote right off the top of my head, I do not know, but I should, because I was like, that dude is a stud, and I've always liked him. But
they had him mic'd up for the game.
Yes, but
he was having a blast.
Where is it? Gosh, I'm sorry to do this because we're on such a good roll. But what the heck was it? And it was.
They scored 6 runs in the 9th, I believe.
Back and forth. That's all. I mean, it was real. I thought I had it, but Tim Anderson gets done with the interview. Then he just says, "Thank you. I appreciate you as always." That is just such a class act thing to do, and I know it sounds so minute, but it was just like, I appreciate you as always, meaning like he could have been like, yeah, I knew it was coming, I knew I was gonna, I want to be in that big time. All right, we're gonna take a phone call. ESPN 1170 AM. Who we got?
This is Easer A's.
Yay, Easer A's. What's up, buddy?
Oh my me since about 6 o'clock last night I've been at full staff.
Yeah, all right. Love it.
Was it 6 o'clock or 12 o'clock?
Yeah. 6 to midnight, real quick.
Yeah.
As soon as Costner came walking out of the corn, I was a bag of emotions last night, Jay Merrick. That thing was amazing.
Yep.
Everything. The whole thing. Iowa did good. Major League Baseball did good. The Field of Dreams did good. All the drone shots. Fox had never used a drone before. for a Major League Baseball game ever.
Get
and
out.
then last night,
Are you serious?
Run that drone.
Well, they nailed it.
They run that drone over the new field, over the old field, up to the house, into the window, down the stairs. You're like, I had a friend over. She goes, "Why is the window of the house open?" "Oh, just wait. The drone flies into the house." I was like, "Are you kidding me?" It was the best.
Absolutely. It was. This is the shot in the arm that Major League Baseball needed. And quite frankly, I think a lot of people will agree this is a shot in the arm that professional sports needed.
Yeah. And it's a good thing it came this late in the season, because now you got people rejuvenated again with baseball, and that'll lead into the postseason here shortly.
Yeah.
And the game had a pennant race feel to it.
Sure.
Like it got the World Series treatment, number one. With,
sure did.
They had the full crew of the pregame guys, and then you had Buck and Smoltz, whatever. But Costner in the booth for a good 2 innings.
Great.
Yakking away. It's just, I had friends out there texting me during the game. I just couldn't. I almost cried at least 4 times just watching it. Just the emotions of watching it and knowing that we could pull it off.
It was great. And like I said, I know there was a time there was a worry about, possible rain, and that's always going to be an issue in Iowa. But like I said, that sunset, everything, just perfect to not have like the background of buildings and everything else. Like it just looked good. And it just, everybody not there was envious of everybody there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then I made a comment right away in our house watching the game. I said, the crowd sounds like a crowd at the park. Like you're at your kid's game or beer league softball night. Like the people, like the team from the team before is sitting around drinking a bucket of beer over on the picnic table.
Yeah.
It didn't have like a hum. Like you listen to a game on the radio or on TV, the stadium kind of hums with all the people all talking. Last night it was more like there was no hum because, well, number one, there was nothing to catch the noise to bring it back in. Everything just kind of disappeared over the corn. And then there were still people milling about on the old field and stuff. It's just, I don't know. It kind of had that Iowa feeling, that small town feeling just to it, just the way the crowd was. Granted, the people in the front row looked like they had better places to be, but everyone else seemed like they were in it.
Yeah, it's going to happen sometimes, but
yeah.
They said some people were paying upwards of $3,000 a ticket on the secondary market.
Yeah. Well, the average was $1,400. So
pricey,
but still, and it's only going to go if that Cubs Cardinals thing is that rumor really happens. That's you're going to be paying a lot for that to happen. And no, the idea that you can do the lottery thing and everything else, like it was just it's just so much. And what is the city hangover like right now, Easer A's?
Well, I had to come to work today. We are missing quite a few people around here. They did a viewing party downtown for the locals to get together. I guess my friend went for a walk this morning. She said it was plenty of trash, and it sounds like a few people maybe were overserved.
Really?
Down there.
Yeah.
The line of cars would have made the end shot of the movie. If it hadn't been in the middle of the afternoon, they could have recreated that from the people coming in out to the game about 2:00.
Oh yeah, I was wondering what that traffic was going to be.
The line was from the Field of Dreams all the way to Highway 20 in Dyersville.
Wow.
Of all the people coming. So Mikey parked a car at my house. Mikey Hart, shout out, got to go to the game.
Yeah.
He parked a car at my house. I told him he was coming from the west. I said, hey, man, when you come to Dyersville, drive past town, and then about a mile past, take a left and come back to my house because I live on the east side of the highway that everybody was on. He said he switched in his GPS and went from an hour and a half to go to 30 minutes to go just by changing that one direction.
Wow. Yeah,
and it was a mile and a half out of his way.
Yeah, he said that the on the Harrington's Pub Facebook comment thread, he said he got home at 3:30 but made it to work at 10. Mikey did. All right, so we'll start here while I have you on the air. Stocking says on the Harrington's Pub Facebook comment, the question will be the ratings the game got on Fox and what happens if the novelty wears off. That's you're looking way too down in the future because next year will be even bigger.
It was
the production.
It was the most watched regular season MLB game
in
ever,
history,
I believe.
I remember them saying something like that. Yeah, on the broadcast last night.
Well,
that's a win for Fox.
They moved it up an hour earlier than our normal start time for Central Time Zone. You know, they went with a
6:15,
6:20 as opposed to the 7:10. So we had a little more of the East Coast audience. And there was a time in about the fifth inning, it was the only game.
That's right.
There was no other games. The West Coast games hadn't started yet, and everybody on the East Coast played in the afternoon.
Yes, they did.
And I think the closest game was like maybe the Reds had started at 5:10. So there was a spot there from a good sweet spot from 8 to pretty much the walk-off. I mean, the walk-off kind of ran into the West Coast, the three West Coast games, but there was a sweet spot where it was the only game and it was on broadcast TV. You know, you didn't need a Fire Stick to watch this thing.
Yeah. No, it was... Again, I can't say enough good things to Major League Baseball and Fox for doing this. You know, and I'm just so happy. I'm happy for your city because, I mean, outside of the, people who got a little rowdy or whatever else, but Dyersville looked great. I'm happy for Field of Dreams. I hope that spikes more attendance there. And I'm happy for that. Mm-hmm. I'm happy for that field that's going to be used that they've said, the owners have said that they're going to Little League games, high school games, college, and one of those things. And what Stocking was saying is hopefully maybe they'll move the high school state championship there. They've got to use it for things, and it's a great atmosphere.
If you saw some of the videos, they drove the players right up to the stadium. That was something I didn't know if they had that capability. Obviously, they had the road there because they had to get all the equipment and stuff back there. But yeah, like when the players came in on their buses from Dubuque, they drove them right up to the clubhouse and dropped them off to go into the new field. So there is capabilities, to bring high school kids out there and drop them off with the bus, and for their families to park out at the Field of Dreams and walk out through there.
And speaking of the players, you thought maybe in the back of your mind some of these guys, have some big heads about them, and maybe they wouldn't enjoy driving out to quote unquote the middle of nowhere to play a game. But to a man, everyone that was interviewed, everyone that was on camera looked like they were little kids again, and they remembered why they fell in love with the game of baseball playing there last night.
Aaron Judge said when they pulled into the parking lot, he's seen something he'd never seen before in his years on the bus. They all put their phones down. Every single guy on the bus put their phone down, and they took in the environment. Like those guys don't know Iowa from anywhere. Half of them are from the DR. I mean, and for them to all be Aaron Boone. Aaron Boone was every American last night. I felt like that dude he was the very first guy introduced in the lineup, which I love that they did the lineups like the All-Star game where they introduced each guy, but he was very first. He was crying. He was like, his face was welled up. I mean, he was so close to just breaking down right there because the emotion of that moment, he's probably your guys or Jay's age, not your American younger than me, but he's probably around your age, Jay.
Every time I'm on.
Yeah.
That movie plays to him.
Sure.
Like that's his movie, and he's a baseball family, so like, oh man, that they did it right. Like Merrick said, Costner, God, that's probably the best performance of his life almost.
I think the word
sold that.
I know. Well, the word when Merrick said he sauntered, I was like, that is such a Costner thing. Like as soon as you said saunter, I'm like, that is exactly Costner, man. He did nail it. Yeah.
I saw a great tweet about that last night. It said, "Yeah, Field of Dreams is cool, but next year can we play the game at Waterworld?"
Jeez. So yeah. Hey, any word about those home run balls?
Every time they did the drone shots, you could see the people walking through.
Okay.
So I don't know if there was people in the stands because there was like this path that led from center field back to the old field. So I don't know because I want to say that's probably the way the players came through. I don't know if they had people in the corn grabbing those or not.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
wondering.
those are going to the Hall of Fame. No doubt. Those are going to the Hall of Fame.
They just I was wondering if there's people out there at about like 3 a.m. with the flashlights on their head, like, crawling through trying to find home
I
run
would
balls.
assume they had staff collecting those, and if any fans got a hand of those, then they left with a
like
cool
with a walkie-talkie,
$2,000.
like above, they're like, this is where it is. They have like quadrants already out there on the corner, and be like, all right, here's your map. It's in quadrant Q 7, and they're like, okay, I know where it is.
And if a fan got one of those balls, they were paid a hefty amount to give it back.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I would like to know about that, though, yeah.
On a Braves home run, I texted my friend. I said, that one only got about 1 row in. You can find it.
Yeah. Mikey says in the Harrington's Pub Facebook comment thread, they had staff grabbing the balls. So
No
okay,
doubt
that's what I figured.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Mikey'd be the better guy to know. I was just on my couch like everybody else in America. I was just a little bit closer.
Yeah. It was incredible. Well, Easer Ace, thanks for calling in, man. Sorry that you had to go back to work today, but it was incredible last night, and that's awesome for the town of Dyersville, and it was awesome for Iowa and awesome for baseball.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Have a good show.
Appreciate you, man. Yep, we will. Bye.
We just did 25% on this show on Field of Dreams game. And we probably could have done the full 2 hours.
I probably wouldn't have thought any other way. Okay. Let's take our first break. We've gone 31 minutes here at Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. We'll be right back. ESPN 1170. Well, hold on a second. Now we got a phone call, so I'm going to hold on. ESPN 1170 AM. Who we got?
You got Adam. I'll make it real quick.
Yeah, no problem. You're good. Trust me. We got time. Yeah.
Hey, so last night, man, I've got to say everything you guys have said, everything from the call and from Easer A is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I choked up 5 or 6 times as well. They did a great job with that game. I texted you earlier that my boss was at that game.
Yep.
He ended up getting his tickets off StubHub. Long story short, they screwed up, and they ended up putting him 4 rows up behind home plate.
Oh, wow.
And he said kind of the same thing Easer A is saying, is that when you were sitting in that crowd, the acoustics was 100% different than if you sat at a normal game. Because he goes to normal Cardinals games at least once a year. He said the only thing that he would also suggest is that if your kids aren't used to hearing curse words, that they probably shouldn't go to any of those games. He goes, we heard quite a few GDs and F-bombs that were dropped from the pitching mound, especially in that 6th inning there when that pitcher came in and he wasn't getting a called strike to save his life.
Yeah.
Kopech, yeah.
And I love how they did the wood grain back. I mean, they made it look perfect. And I was showing my kids on it. It felt like a learning point for my kids. Like I was sitting there being like, this is the way it looks like. This is the way it should still look like, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And every time they said Dyersville, it gave me chills. Like I was out in the kitchen getting something and we're coming back from Dyersville, Iowa. And it's like, did they really just say that? Like I couldn't get over the fact that they were saying Dyersville, Iowa on a Fox network, you know, and then the other thing too is, did you hear that how they got the corn to stand so perfect?
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that? I remember that, yeah.
So they basically took these aluminum poles and PVC pipes and zip tied every stalk so it stood straight up and down, so it didn't look like it was falling over. So they pretty much like propped.
Well, they did that as a necessity. It was standing up, and then the storms over the last couple of days came and knocked about half the corn down. But they wanted it looking good, so
they nailed it.
They had people working 12 hours straight to get that standing up.
Yeah, that would be gruesome work trying to do that. Just putting a stake in the ground, zip tying it, going to the next one. Because they didn't do just 1 or 2. It looked like they did quite a few of them. If you look how straight and perfect they looked from those aerial views.
And they did a great job because everything about that was just so aesthetically pleasing. As an Iowan, as a baseball fan, as a fan of Field of Dreams, just a perfect night all around.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And he also said to get from his car to the actual field took him about 10 minutes to get through that maze. He kept calling it the stupid maze. He said it was a long walk to get through the corn to get to the baseball field. He said that was the only bad part about the deal because he got there kind of early and it was kind of a little humid out still.
Just want to get to my seat.
Yeah. But I also liked how they lit up the cornfield, too, for the pads. He said that it looked like they just grabbed the Christmas lights out of their attic and just lit it up. I mean, it wasn't like they put on this big, like, lights and skylights to light up the path.
Welcome to Iowa.
Yeah. Well, they're going to do something bigger and better next year. So, and I mean, like Stocky was saying, it's like maybe it wears off. I don't think it does, not for a while. And
no, and I agree with what you guys said. It should be like an every 4-year thing because I think it could eventually wear off. But if you keep it like an every 4-year thing,
yeah,
I think you nail it. And like you said earlier too, I lost my train of thought. Never mind.
Well, here's one more thing while I have you here, all right? Because I was thinking about this. Who, if anyone steps in and they're like, "Oh, this should be a traveling thing," and like, there isn't a thing like this. Like, if you're like, "Oh, let's do a recreation of the July 4th game in Sandlot," like, you're not going to have Major League Baseball playing in a sandlot.
Yeah.
And let's make it look like the old Municipal Stadium, but that's where they filmed Major League, and the Cleveland Indians play at what looks like that. Like, that's not going to work.
Guardians.
There is the Indian Guardians, yeah. Now we're gonna go to Durham, North Carolina. That might be the only one.
That'd be kind of fun.
Or we out of nowhere, wherever they filmed The Natural, make it look like that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't like roll off your tongue like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like, it just doesn't. Like that, it makes sense. But I do like the idea, and I to what you were saying, Adam, and to what we said earlier. You do next year, and then you announce every 2 years, and I think that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, and like Merrick said, I think that holds some truth too. Is like if you try to make this a traveling show, I don't think the players getting off the bus feel like kids anymore. They feel like a sideshow attraction. Like, oh, here we go to another town that doesn't have Major League Baseball. We're going to put on a show for them.
And if
this was like they got off the bus and they were like, okay, this actually means something to these people here in Iowa. This means something to people who's like really, found something in that movie that, represented something in their life. I mean, I really feel like the players, like Merrick said, they nailed it. Like, they weren't big-headed. It seemed like down to earth. Like, it was great. You couldn't have scripted it any better.
Yeah, and when you do your release, the schedule release for the next year, you just make it a big deal. And guess what? Once you've played there, you can't play there and if they did it every year, you can't play there for the next 16 years, 32 teams or whatever, 30 teams. Like,
agreed.
Once you've played there, you can't play there again until every team's played there. That's what I think.
Yep, 100% agree.
Because just what we're saying, what Israel is saying is that you want that response from like that I want to go there. You want like Joey Votto to be like right now being like, before my career's over, please schedule this game like right now that I get to go there. You know what I'm saying? Like veterans that are just just pining to be a part of it, like that have put time in the Major League, be like, please schedule my team there. That would be awesome.
Bryce Harper shows up. Are you going to use your credentials to go?
Yeah, absolutely.
He's going to come streaking through the corner.
Find
Harper
a way.
shows up.
If I still do by then, I don't know. I'll do something. I don't know. No, I don't know what I do, but I'll do the best I can to not do anything crazy, and I'm not going to break the bank to go there next year. But if it happens, I'll try to find a way the best I can.
He was also saying too that the MLB let Chicago White Sox vendors sell all their stuff there. So it was basically like a White Sox home game.
Yeah.
So like beers were like $9 for a tall boy, he said. So it wasn't like crazily gouged for beer prices and everything. But he said, just like the smaller crowd, you think you would have got out of there at a decent time? He goes, no, it was still like a 2-hour venture to try to get out of the parking.
Yeah.
Okay. Before I let you go, because we got to go to break, I'm going to ask you both a question. Do you think the Chicago White Sox picked up fans, not only because they're leading their division and it looks like they're going to be fine, but because you're either Yankees or you're not Yankees, and you're like, you know what? Tim Anderson looks like a good guy. Liam Hendricks mic'd up was fantastic.
Exciting walk-off.
Do you think the Sox picked up some people?
I do.
Yeah, 100%. 100%, especially when they did that interview with their pitching coach. That guy is freaking, he could have a sports broadcast on his own. That guy is hilarious.
Yeah.
I think they picked up fans for sure.
And I think in the Chicago area, I think you're going to see attendance go up in guaranteed rate field. So.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, that's all I wanted to say.
Appreciate you, man.
Good afternoon.
All right, appreciate you. Thanks for the phone call. All right, now we're going to take our break here at ESPN 1170 AM. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
The Rock says he's going to make your Rudy Poo candy ass famous.
You like that? You like that?
Give me a hell yeah. I said, give me a hell yeah!
This is Adam Rosso from Hawkeye Headquarters, and you are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
Score a major payday with BetMGM. It's the best time to sign up for the King of Sportsbooks because they're giving new customers a shot at an easy $100. Register using code Foster100 and win $100 in free bets when you place a $1 moneyline wager on the Cubs or Marlins, and if either team hits a home run, you win regardless of your bet's outcome. Whether you're raising the stakes on baseball or wagering on your favorite soccer team, BetMGM is always ready for action. Enjoy innovative parlay selection builders, daily promotions, boosted odds specials, and more. Download the app or go to BetMGM.com and use code Foster100 to win $100 when you bet $1 on the Cubs or Marlins. And if either team hits a home run, you win only at BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. New customer offer, paid and free bets. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 or older. Iowa only. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Gonna miss you around here, Iris.
Olivia's best optometry technician is going back to school.
Did we get that new frame?
Her eye is already twitching about finding a replacement.
Ugh, this can't keep happening. We're gonna have to cancel appointments.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Screen for quality candidates with the skills your role needs with Indeed assessments. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Shop and save on hot deals at Tyson's. Stock up on Noble Outfitters ladies' t-shirts and tank tops and men's and ladies' lead jeans. On sale now. Save big on select spring and summer clothing from brands you trust, now up to 50% off. Get ready for tailgate season at Tyson's and save on more to rep your favorite team from our big selection of clothing, drinkware, chairs, and more. Save up to $150 on select Pit Boss, Blackstone, and Charbroil grills. All these great deals and more now through August 15th. Tyson's, home, farm, auto.
Hey, Sarah, how's business?
It's going well. Our clients love our work. I just wish that we could figure out how to grow faster.
I hear you. Is it slow for everyone in your industry right now?
Actually, no. I see competitors all over who seem to be very busy, even though I know my work is better than theirs. I just wish I knew how they were finding new customers. If I could do it too, I know I could beat them.
I had that same challenge until I signed up with Town Square. Now my website is on page 1 of Google, and I'm getting leads every day.
Town Square? Was it expensive?
Not at all. Zero cost to build the site, no nickel and diming, and no contracts. Just a monthly subscription that I can cancel anytime. It's awesome.
Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free competitive analysis that will show you how the most successful businesses grow and how you can do it too with no risk. Be one of the first to sign up and you'll receive $500 in free advertising on this station. Visit mylocalcustomers.com. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
I'm Andrew Siciliano with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Week 1 of the preseason got underway Thursday with 2 games. The Patriots beat the Washington football team 22-13 in Foxborough. Rookie Mac Jones makes his NFL debut, 13 of 19 for 87 yards. Meantime, the Steelers beat the Eagles 24-16 in Philadelphia. Pittsburgh 2-0 behind 16-22, 161 and a touchdown from Dwayne Haskins. The Ravens open up their preseason Saturday against the Saints. Baltimore will be without rookie wide receiver Rashad Bateman. He suffered a soft tissue injury, scheduled to undergo groin surgery. Head coach John Harbaugh said he expects Bateman to be sidelined until September. Vikings second-year wideout Justin Jefferson sprained his AC joint in practice last Friday. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero reports the team expects Jefferson to be back on the field and practicing soon. This has been an NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Stream all your favorites with the Disney Bundle.
What did you expect?
Disney Plus has Loki and Luca. Hulu has originals like Summer of Soul and Love Victor. And ESPN Plus has exciting UFC matchups and new episodes of Stephen A's World. Sign up at DisneyPlus.com and get the Disney Bundle for $13.99 a month. Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus. Get the Disney Bundle today. Includes Hulu ad-supported plan. Terms apply. See DisneyPlus.com for details.
How can I make sure my office never stops working?
With Staples Connect, it's possible.
I need to keep my back office stocked without messing up my bottom line.
Also possible, because Staples Connect has your small business covered with big savings on everything you need. This week, earn 30% back in a Staples store bonus when you spend $85 on ink or $200 on toner. Explore what's new at your local Staples or staplesconnect.com. Staples Connect, the working and learning store. Limit 4 in-store only. Visit staplesconnect.com/store bonus for details. Ends 8/21.
Your home of the Chicago White Sox and the only local sports show in the Quad Cities. Don't hassle us. We're local. Noon till 2 on the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
All right, we're back. 12:45 in the afternoon, Friday, August 13th. Just got done talking about, the Field of Dreams game last night. We got 2 phone calls. That was awesome. And we're at 1 o'clock. We're going to be joined by Omar Kelly. He's the longest tenured beat writer for the Miami Dolphins. He's been up at.
He actually just became the longest tenured yesterday. When
gotcha.
Armando Salguero left the Miami Herald. So I think I might ask him about that.
Yeah. So he's been up at the preseason for the Bears actually this week because the Bears will be playing Miami Dolphins, and so we're going to talk to him, ask him some questions. So make sure to tune in or get your questions on the Facebook comment thread. You can, if you're watching us on Facebook Live, go ahead and get some questions ready and see if you want some insight of what he's seen for the Bears that's going on right now. All right, so Merrick, we talked about the game last night and other productions that you saw that I haven't seen, but I want to talk about going through it before we get to that. You watched the documentary. It's on Netflix, right?
Yep.
Malice at the Palace.
Fantastic.
You think it's fantastic?
I do. I think it was Last Dance quality, but condensed to one nice, neat 1-hour episode instead of sitting through 10.
Okay, full disclosure, everyone out there, I'm not going to fake this. I did not see this. I know exactly where I was when I saw it.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd never seen anything like that. What we're referring to is the November 13th, 2004 episode that was at the Palace in Detroit, is the Detroit Pistons versus the Indiana Pacers.
Mm-hmm.
And Steven Jackson and Ron Artest, now Metta World Peace, went into the stands. You can explain more about it, but I had never seen really like a reaction like that where players went into the stands and were throwing fists. Like, it was to the point where I was like, I feel like where I was standing, oddly enough, I was living with my buddy Dave Martin, who was the third base coach for the Davenport Southeast Little League team today.
Oh, interesting.
And I looked at him and I was like, what's going on and why do I feel like I'm going to get stabbed?
Yeah.
And I'm miles away. I'm sitting in Davenport, Iowa.
Yeah.
Explain what the documentary said.
Well, when the incident first happened, 2004, reporting was a little bit different. The world was a little bit different. So a lot of the reports were about how the players were thugs and gangsters and going up into the stands is
Mm-hmm.
a terrible act to do. And the players don't disagree with that. But this documentary focuses on this whole fiasco more so from the player side and what instigated this. And you get to see a whole bunch of unreleased footage from all of the different camera angles throughout the arena there up in Detroit that show, the fans essentially, causing this scuffle here, to put it lightly. Easily the most egregious fan versus player interaction we've ever had in American sports. I think you'd agree with that, right, Jay?
Yes, absolutely.
And so they show different angles of the fan throwing the cup full of beer, which he almost did it like like the kids doing the flip the water bottle thing on the internet where they try to throw the water bottle and make it land on the base here.
Yep.
Yeah, he almost threw it like that. It was like underhanded, like a granny shot. So pretty good accuracy for that type of deal. But he throws that on Ron Artest when Artest was laying down on the scorer's table. And at the time, it was reported that Artest was doing it as a way to kind of show up the Pistons, show up Ben Wallace, who actually him and Artest got into the initial scuffle there. So he's laying on the scorer's table, and he said, he was in therapy at the time dealing with a whole bunch of issues. And he was actually practicing a technique that he was taught in therapy in real time, which, I think we all tell our kids this, right? Hey, take a deep breath, take a time out, count to 5 in your head slowly, and then reassess the situation after that. So he claims he was not trying to show up Ben Wallace or the Detroit Pistons. He was just trying to avoid the conflict by laying down on the scorer's table and taking his time out, taking his 5-second breather. And then that's when the fan got angry and decided to interject by throwing the cup full of beer, and it hit Ron Artest directly in the chest. And that's when Artest went crazy, jumped into the 5th, 6th row of the stands, and actually attacked the guy next to the guy who threw the beer. And the guy who threw the beer ended up trying to grab him. But then Steven Jackson comes up, and then that's going on, and then fans start storming the court, and somebody comes and kind of like, puffs his chest out to Jermaine O'Neal, and he just cold cocks him.
Sure.
Or Ron Artest cold cocks him, and then somebody goes after Ron, and then Jermaine O'Neal comes charging in, and luckily for that fan, he slipped as he threw the right hand because he still connected with it, and sent the guy, on his tuchus there on the court. But if he would have got a full force blow to that dude with the size of Jermaine O'Neal, 7 feet tall, he would have easily broken his jaw. Could have killed the dude. But
2 things. One, the first thing that comes to my mind when this comes up is I want to watch the documentary for one scene, and I want to know if they said it or not. Ron Artest, when he Meta World Peace, when he talks about this in past interviews, he says that he's in the post game, he's in the locker room, and they're just, or is it Steven Jackson? I think it's Steven Jackson says he's post game and he's he's right next to Ron Artest, and Ron Artest just at their untying their shoes or whatever else, he slowly looks over to his right and he looks at Steven Jackson and goes, "You think we're going to get in trouble for this?"
Yeah.
Is it in
they
there?
definitely talk about that.
Yes. Okay, I'm in. And that's one of my I don't know anything about. That's one of my favorite stories.
I legitimately think it's the best part of the documentary because then they pan to Jermaine O'Neal, today's Jermaine O'Neal sitting in his living room, and he's just staring at the camera with this look on his face. It's like, what is wrong with you, dude?
That's all I can think of, too. Like, we're definitely going to get through. The other thing is this. My takeaway is I'm a little concerned that it is executive produced by Jermaine O'Neal.
Oh, is it?
Yes. Is it painting a light of they're not the villains, everybody else is?
Yeah. And I think it paints a fairer picture than maybe what came out in the media when it initially happened, because you do remember a lot of those conversations with people calling the players thugs, and David Stern implemented a dress code immediately after this.
That's true.
And there are some somewhat racist undertones to the way that was reported back in the day. Again, the world has changed quite a bit, even since 2004, which, by the way, when you're like, oh, yeah, that was what, maybe like 10 years ago?
No.
Yeah, you're talking
2004. Yeah,
we're talking 17 years.
Yeah. That's it. Well, so definitely something I want to check out. And we, for sports fans,
absolutely recommend it. Absolutely recommend it.
Well, listen, we went so far before the first break, we got to take another one because in 7 minutes we're going to take a phone call from Omar Kelly, and we're going to talk about the Bears, where he's been up at House Hall, and we're going to talk about the Dolphins as well. So we'll be right back. Don't Hassle Us for Local, ESPN 1170 AM.
We're going streaking through the quad and into the gymnasium. Come on, everybody! You like that? You like that?
Give me a hell yeah! I said give me a hell yeah!
This is Coach A.C. Earl. Don't hassle us, we're local.
Susan, it's so great to finally be able to get together again.
Oh, it sure is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Get Upside, the free gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Get Upside app?
Yes, up to 25 cents a gallon. Cash back every time I buy gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Some months I make $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Get Upside app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code WIN for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents a gallon on your next fill-up. You can cash out anytime to PayPal or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code WIN for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code WIN.
This is a metaphor for your business's journey. Sometimes it feels like you're going 100 miles an hour, barely keeping up. But to cruise through challenges, you need someone who's right there with you. That's what Dell Technologies advisors do. They have the tech advice you need to get past whatever's in front of you and get to where you want to go.
Call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL and do more with modern devices and Windows 10 Pro.
The Max Kellerman Show. And when you think about the Rams offense and what McVay can do with Stafford, like think about what he did with Goff and Gurley. Remember a couple years ago, it was like the Rams have 3 MVPs on their team. 3 guys in the conversation. About 2/3 of the way through that season, I'd say. The Rams' offense has not been the same since. And going into this season, I thought, you know what? They got Cam Akers now. Since week 11 of last season, including the playoffs, Akers is number 1 in rushing yards, scrimmage yards, and scrimmage touchdowns on the Rams. So I thought, they got their guy now. That offense is going to be a problem. In fact, even talking about, will Stafford win a Super Bowl on the Rams, my first instinct was say no. That is a huge hit for the Rams to take.
The Max Kellerman Show. Weekdays at 2 on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
It's back to school season at JCPenney, and the smart time to shop is now. Stock up on styles kids want and shop doorbusters all day Thursday to Sunday while they last. Like $11.99 select Thereabouts denim and $19.99 Arizona sneakers. Or use your coupon to save an extra 25% on select categories. Shop extended store hours all weekend. Weekdays are back in style. JCPenney. Doorbusters valid 8/12 to 8/15 and excluded from coupon. Coupon valid through 8/19. Some exclusions apply. See store or jcp.com for details.
It's time to rise and grind. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin.
I know Brad Pitt from the Hollywood scene in L.A., whatever.
Name drop.
Name drop. I see him, I say hi, whatever. He brings me over into their little section or whatnot. There's a guy with colored glasses on, and he's talking to me, having a conversation with me. And I'm like, oh, yeah. He's telling me, I asked him, what do you do for a living, where you're from? He says, I'm from Ireland. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. What do you do for a living? He says, oh, I'm in the music business, da-da-da. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That's what's up. And so I'm like, oh, you stay, keep your head up. You're going to just keep, man, this thing, I know it's tough, entertainment business, grind it out, the whole deal.
Look at you being motivational.
Brad Pitt goes, hey, man, you ever heard of U2? I'm like, no, I kind of know the group or whatever. He said, that's the lead singer of U2. I'm like, Bono. Oh, okay, all right. But I'm trying to encourage him.
Zero idea who Bono was. Zero clue.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin. Mornings on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
Your legacy is important. Preparing your final wishes is a lasting gift to family and friends. Lock in and guarantee today's prices while alleviating the burden on your loved ones. Whelan Presley's pre-arrangement policies are guaranteed to be there when needed. You can even begin the pre-arranging process from home. Log on to WhelanPresley.com or contact us to get started. Trusted over 130 years, Whelan Presley Funeral Home and Crematory.
We would be honored and privileged to serve you.
Draft Day Sports Lounge has everything you need to enjoy all the sports action. Over 50 beer options to choose from, great food, sports betting, and a fantastic atmosphere for you and your friends to escape to. They're always adding to the menu to make sure there's the perfect option for everyone. So come visit Draft Day Sports Lounge inside Rhythm City Casino. And if you want to plan ahead, the full menu is at rhythmcitycasino.com.
Your local sports show in the Quad Cities is on ESPN 1170. Don't hassle us. We're local. Noon till 2 on the Quad Cities Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
Okay, we're back here on the air at ESPN 1170 AM. Don't hassle us, we're local. Since we're getting there, I should have probably during the break, instead of, had to sharing stories about growing up and how the middle school looks different now. I should have got this ready, but I'm going to get this up and running because we're going to call Omar Kelly. Again, tell everybody who we're calling, Merrick.
Omar Kelly, longest tenured beat writer for the Miami Dolphins. He's been in Chicago all week covering Dolphins versus Bears practices. He'll be covering the preseason game that's happening at noon on Saturday, NFL Network.
Yeah, we're gonna talk to him. So he's been watching the Bears all week long, and he knows a lot about the Dolphins like you. I'm gonna let you take it after I introduce him. I'm gonna let you take it from here, and then if I throw anything, and also if
you got to ask the Bears questions because I got all my Dolphins questions.
If there's Bears questions on there from the Harrington's Pub Facebook comment thread, I will just kind of say like I'll let you know when there's a question type of thing. So, all right, let's give him a call. Hopefully, I don't mess this up, which happens sometimes. Come on here.
Is it ringing?
It takes a while.
Yeah. Hello?
Omar Kelly, how you doing? It's Merrick Brave, the wrestler, as you call me.
Hey, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing well, Omar. How are you doing? Up in Chicago right now, huh?
I'm good. I didn't even know you were doing radio. What are you doing in the radio world?
I'm on here occasionally. I'm with my co-host Jay Foster. We're on the Don't Hassle Us, We're Local show on ESPN 1170 here in Davenport, Iowa.
Okay, Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
That's right. I'm Jay, Omar, and we're on ESPN 1170 AM here in eastern Iowa and western Illinois. So we're really happy to have you here. Thank you so much. And we're just so small that we don't even have producers. So thank you for going straight to air with us. And we didn't even give you much of a prep, but here we are.
All right, cool. That's all good, man.
How's Chicago been treating you, Omar?
You know what? The funny thing is, Chicago is probably the city I have the least feel for. It's an NFL city I don't get to regularly. It's a major city. I always feel like I don't touch enough of it to understand it. So right now I'm writing a major piece on trying to sort of explain the RPO offense to football fans. And after I'm done with that, I'm going to hop on one of those hop-on, hop-off buses and see the city.
That's exciting. Check out the the downtown area, the lake area. Navy Pier is a nice tourist spot for you there. And maybe get some deep dish pizza.
No deep dish pizza. No, sir.
I remember you talking crap about the deep dish pizza on the Twitter there. So,
like, listen, people. Here's my theory on the deep dish. If it was good, it's just like turkey. If it was good, don't you think it would be sold worldwide or at least nationwide? Why is deep dish pizza only a Chicago thing? Only because you people like it.
Listen to me. You're preaching to the crowd. I may have grown up 2.5 hours away from the city, but I think it's overrated. So enjoy the city, do whatever else. I'd like to hear your thoughts afterwards, but I'm with you on the deep dish thing as well. So.
I'm so much a New York slice guy. Like, now that's a pizza you see nationwide. A New York slice is nationwide thing. This deep dish, stop trying to make people gravitate to it. Stop trying to make people like it.
I think I'm in the camp that all pizza is good pizza. So I'm fine with it.
Even flatbread pizza?
I'm fine with flatbread. Yeah, it's not too bad.
See, no, fine is not what you. I don't. Right. If somebody says your lovemaking is fine, like, he is. Look at it as a compliment.
He is 100% right. Omar is 100%. Omar, let me tell you a quick story. I had a not too long ago talking about as a player. Somebody like just reached out to me like. And the woman told me, she goes, if I ask my husband, how do I look? And he says, fine, I'm going to lose my mind. I don't want to look fine.
Yeah, go change. Absolutely, go change.
Fine is just decent. You're right. It's fine. Yeah. Fine isn't a good description. Yeah.
No. Man, who would have thought we would have started this with 5 minutes of pizza talk, huh?
Actually, he may be new to the show, but I know the show. It's crazy. Yeah, so.
Well, Omar, yesterday, a big news from Armando. He's leaving the beat, which leaves you the longest tenured Dolphins beat writer currently, huh? How's that make you feel?
Yeah, there's no celebration there. Despite the fact that I don't really socialize with Armando, I do like him. Don't like his views, but I do like him as a person. So I'm sad to see him go. Armando basically leads us in hotel guidance, making sure we stay at the right places. And now he's not on the road with us anymore. But I wish him the best. It makes me the most senior coverage guy, which I'm not necessarily certain if I'm comfortable with that or what that means. But you live and you roll with the punches. I've had my chances and opportunities to go elsewhere, but I honestly know I learned this lesson from Mike Hawley, who I don't know if you guys are familiar with. He's got another show on the Peacock Network with Michael Smith. Mike Hawley is one of the guys that I admire and aspire to be like while I was growing up. And he left and he came to Chicago, coincidentally, from the Boston Globe, and absolutely hated it here. Couldn't have any sort of meaningful or engaging experience with any of these teams. Just didn't care about them, and he went back home. Wow. So I never wanted that to happen to me.
Mondo's gone, Beasley's gone, Safed's gone. What's going on down there?
People are getting a call up, man. That's what happens when and that's good. I think maybe the Tua exposure's putting more of attention on what we've been doing. I mean, when you've sucked for so long, you forget that you're doing good work down there as a team.
So let's jump right into these Dolphins questions before we get to the Bears, just because we are in Bears country here. But, me personally, I'm kind of selfish. I need to get my Dolphins questions out here. On Twitter, you've been saying that Dolphins' offensive line does not look any better than they did last year. Would you say it's worth kicking the tires on a veteran like Mitchell Schwartz, Russell Okung, somebody like that?
I would say nothing should be put past them. Is Russell Okung not employed right now?
Not that I know
of. Interesting.
Or maybe via trade or something.
I gotta look that up. But I don't know what's available out there, and I know a lot of the veterans, they just don't want to participate in training camp, and I understand because it gets to be a grind. Some of the stuff is protocol and COVID. People don't realize this, but once you get past like year 7 of the NFL, you start to awaken to all the bull crap that the league puts people through. And so you don't want to participate in it anymore. You don't want to do the foolishness. And teams allow it sometimes. Brent Grimes would literally, not to tell his business, but, when he was playing in Tampa, he'd only show up for the OTA practices that the media attended, and then he'd go home. And that was literally his OTA his off-season participation. And teams allow it once you get to a certain stats. When they know you're going to be ready to play, they allow it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this offensive line, but it's not very good. I can't even say it's a step forward because you lost Eric Flowers, and while people were like, well, he was average, like you do realize that your whole line was average last year, and some parts of your line were below average, and now the guy who's replacing him was the below average part. So that makes you below average because I believe that your line is only as good as your weakest link. So that's really what they're grappling with right now.
So do you think when it shakes out, then Solomon Kinley's going to take that left guard spot over Eichenberg, who seemed to have been struggling and then suffered an injury?
No, it's unfair to say he was struggling because while he might have been struggling with Chicago, it might have been a product of an injury. So we don't know. And it's not like this team is absolutely revealing stuff to us from an injury standpoint. We literally watch Hunter Long, blow up his knee and according to Flores, he's day to day, which I don't believe. But the fact that he's not, he hasn't had surgery or we think he hasn't had surgery is a good indicator he'll be back at some point this season. I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is, and we won't know until we actually see some contact hitting people, trying to take people to the ground, no holds barred. We just don't know yet, but it doesn't help that you start out with probably the most physical line you could face in the preseason, and that Bears line is no joke.
Yeah, and on Twitter you said Davis was holding his own against Khalil Mack there, which is encouraging.
Yeah. No, yeah, everybody, people who know me, they know I'm a Jesse Davis fan club member. I will defend Jesse Davis till the end of time. And as a trench play lover, see, most people just pretend like they know what they're talking about, they know what they're looking at, or they pay attention to offensive line. I watch offensive line on every single snap of every single practice, every single game. And I know Jesse Davis is a good offensive lineman. Jesse Davis is your best offensive lineman. So you could put all the disrespect that you want to behind his name, but as I always say to the Dolphin fan, tell me the game and the play where Jesse Davis was a liability. You can't. And that's what you should aspire to from all your offensive linemen.
Agree there. So we talked a little bit about Eichenberg. So from one rookie to another, Javon Holland seems to be doing well in practice, seems to be doing well against the Bears. What is his potential in this defense at the safety spot?
I think he has the potential to be a bigger producer of big plays. The potential to be a guy who can walk away from the season with 6 turnovers. The only problem I have with that is that it's not his primary job or responsibility. In that position, your primary job and responsibility is to be the quarterback of the defense, make the signal calls, make sure everybody's on the same page, and play that play. And then you serve as the last line of defense where you don't let anybody behind you. Your job is not to get the turnover. Your job is to make sure that nobody beats you deep. And they've been beating the deep a lot. Now, I'm not saying that it's his fault, but, yesterday we talked to Eric Rowe, and Eric Rowe was like, yeah, he's got to get better at making his calls because he's not making his calls loud enough. And when you don't make your calls loud enough, everybody doesn't hear it, and so everybody isn't playing the same thing. And when somebody isn't playing the same thing, that's when breakdowns happen.
Sure. Do you think that's,
so he's got –
Go ahead.
What'd you say?
I was just going to say, do you think that's something that he'll grow into as he gains more experience, being a rookie and everything?
Everything. You're always going to hear guys say in their second year, man, I'm so glad, the things that I didn't know last year, I know now, and it's going to make me play better. I was just having this conversation with somebody about Tua. And I'm sure you're going to get to Tua.
We got to talk Tua a little bit, right?
But I was having this conversation, and I was thinking to myself, like, if Tua can stay healthy and his arm doesn't die on him, by year 4, he's going to be a really good quarterback because he's going to have seen everything that everybody's going to throw at him. And once he's seen everything that everybody's going to throw at him, he knows how to counteract it. He knows how to, because he's very smart. So I'm like, there's no guarantee that arm is going to survive or that his body's going to survive. But once you get the experience of the reps, it's going to be on and popping. The problem is, I don't think the Dolphin fans have the patience to get to that.
That was my next question.
They spent 7 years waiting on Tannehill.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they want to spend 30 games waiting on Tua, and that's just a byproduct of where we are as a society in this microwave generation, where kids feel like if you don't have an instant starting quarterback, you suck. And Herbert had a great deal of success statistically his rookie season, but what was his record? Did he lead his team to wins? And you can say whatever you want about his defense and how games fell apart on him, whatever. But Tua had a winning record last year. Herbert didn't. Mm-hmm. And would I love to have seen Tua throw the ball like Herbert and zing it everywhere? And yeah, absolutely. But if it doesn't result in wins, what are we doing?
Yeah, sticking with Tua, how big of a leap forward do you think he's taken in his second season so far? And where do you feel his biggest areas of opportunity, where he needs to improve the most at this point?
The only way that I can compare it to people who can actually understand it is I think he's at, right now, heading into year 2, I think he's at Tannehill year 3, maybe year 4, in terms of comfort, understanding of offense, mastery, ability to execute. There are plays. If you don't put any pass rush on him, if it's just 7-on-7 red zones or 7-on-7, he's just going to carve you apart. Like if there's nothing in his face and with accuracy and anticipation, he's just going to continue to put the ball in positions where only his men can catch the ball, and there's nothing you could really do about it. That's why it's fun watching him in 7-on-7 red zone, because it's like touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. Okay, maybe that's an incompletion. Maybe that's a knockdown. Maybe that ball's thrown out of bounds. But then touchdown, 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 and every throw. And I haven't seen that level of mastery probably since Chad Pennington. Not even Ryan Fitzpatrick had that level of mastery, and that's props to him and his strengths, which is accuracy and anticipation. Now, the problem is when you put things in his face, even he admits he's only 6 foot. He's not that tall. He cannot see over the offensive line. He's admitted he throws to spots. He doesn't throw to open. He doesn't look and throw to open receivers. So if something's in his face, it's not going to be good for him. And that's where you got to get to the point where you have consistent and reliable offensive line protection.
So fortifying the interior of the offensive line, you would say, is more important than maybe the tackle spots?
No, I wouldn't say any of that. I would say all of it is important.
All 5 spots?
Every single bit of it. Yeah, every single bit of it is important.
Now, you did have
even the center play.
You did have somewhat of a controversial tweet, I believe it was yesterday, where you said that if you were forced to choose between Tua and Justin Fields, you would pick Tua. You still stand by that statement?
There's no question, and so would most of the NFL. Tua was selected 5th. Justin Fields was selected what? And he was like the 4th quarterback in a class where none of the quarterbacks even compared to Tua. Like people act like I'm saying something controversial. Justin Fields was what, the 4th quarterback of his draft class?
I believe so, yeah, because they went 1, 2, and 3, yeah. I think they traded up to 10 to get him, yeah.
Yeah, no, nobody can explain to you why he fell. You could sit there and twist it however you want, but he's not my style of quarterback. He's not a quarterback that I would have drafted at all, personally, because I believe that he has the inclination to use his athletic ability and run, and I don't like those kind of quarterbacks. And while I'm not sitting here and go ahead.
With that being said, you did say he had a pretty good practice yesterday, correct?
Yeah, he did. He did have a pretty good practice, and I'm not saying I'm seeing him run now, but I'm telling you right now, when he's facing pressure in his face, his first instinct isn't going to say let me step up in the pocket and throw to this open man down here. His first instinct is going to run, and that's great, and it works. And even Lamar Jackson, who also would not be a quarterback that I draft, people always misunderstand me criticizing Fields. Like I wouldn't have drafted Lamar Jackson either. Still wouldn't draft Lamar Jackson because I ultimately know when that athleticism goes away, what are you left with? You're left with RG3. I don't want that. And that's what people have to really grasp when I say that it's not my style of quarterback. Does he have a superior arm to Tua? Absolutely. Does he have a superior build to Tua? Absolutely. Does he have superior athleticism to Tua? Absolutely. Well, Tua's got accuracy and anticipation. If you ask me right now and ask most smart football people what they want from their quarterback, they're going to tell you accuracy and anticipation. Accuracy is the number one trait. And you don't have to have all that fancy stuff if you got accuracy and anticipation.
I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like that you stick to what you're saying. Can I go back to, I want to ask you about the comment that you made that Tua, and we're going back to the Dolphins for anyone out there listening, be like, oh, Bears talk, Bears talk, Bears talk. We'll get to that. But I do want to talk about Tua when you compared him to Tannehill like year 3. Are you talking about his experience of the game, how to manage it, or are you talking like numbers-wise where you think he's going to be? Because if you're looking at numbers-wise, year 3 of Tannehill, it's probably his best year at Miami.
I wouldn't even know what his numbers were because I just don't sit there and offenses and styles and whether they're going to let him throw. The problem with the Dolphins is the Dolphins had Tannehill throw 40 times a game, which was ridiculously dumb for an average quarterback. Even Tennessee now, he's not throwing 40 times a game. Like, that's just dumb. It's not the style that you're going to play to win with him. So I don't think I've ever sit there and compared numbers of any quarterback.
And Omar, you're 100% correct because that's the year he actually had the most attempts of his entire career. So you're 100% correct that they overthrew him, and he's not even close to that since he's been at Tennessee. So.
Yeah. You're funny. You're looking that stuff up. I'm just talking off my head.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned numbers, and I was just like, I've never even thought about numbers. And I hope people don't think that when I say stuff like that, I'm correlating, these are his numbers. I don't play fantasy football, so I don't deal with numbers at all.
And that's why I started the question with, like, is it experience and leadership of the team, or is it numbers-wise? That's why I asked that. Yeah.
Leadership's by far. He's probably further ahead than Tannehill ever was, and probably still is. I'm sure Tannehill's a leader now, but the leadership, the reasons why I advocated, nobody remembers this, the reasons why I advocated for the Dolphins to draft him a year before he was even in the draft is because he has that intangible. He has that leadership. He's got that Pied Piper-ness to him that make people gravitate to him. I watched him talk up, clearly Solomon Kinley, he was demoted third team last week, worked his way back up to second team. He's in the game. He's in the practice now because Eichenberg, their golden child, gets injured. Solomon's feeling a little bit tight going in Thursday's practice. They got some dogs on Chicago's line. Tua gave him such a pep talk, and I didn't hear the words that were coming out of his mouth. All I saw was Solomon Kinley nodding his head. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. And Tua's sitting there doing like offensive line stances as if to say, all I need you to do is just anchor. Set your feet and don't let nobody get past this spot. And Solomon's like, I got you. Like, Tannehill would never, ever, ever in his life ever do that. I've never, ever seen him do anything like that. And that's not an indictment on him. Sometimes it's just not a player's personality. But, part of the reason I'm so adamant about Tua is because he's everything Tannehill was not. Now, Tannehill has some things that he does not have, but the intangible, the leadership, the accuracy, the anticipation, he's reading defenses better than Tannehill did during his Dolphins days. Probably not the late Tannehill, the Gase Tannehill, but his ability to read defense, it goes from being one of his weaknesses in year one to, hey, he's actually becoming pretty good at it. Now, it'll be interesting to see what happens when he's got pressure in his face and defenses coming after him, because the game changes a little bit when people are trying to knock your head off. Mm-hmm. So we still don't have a finished product there, but he's picked up. His offense is built around him, and he has a great comfort level with it.
Can I ask you now, going back to a little bit to Fields and the Bears again, because the Bears have said that there's going to be obviously Dalton's going to start one series, maybe two, and they said they're going to take Fields into the third quarter. So we're going to see a lot of him in the first half and into the third quarter. Even if he goes out and shines, I'm kind of feeling like what you said, people in your face or whatever else. If he goes out and shines and the Bears fans are like, oh, he's the future, do you think that's still not the number ones in your face type of thing? Or what do you look at? What are you looking at as far as, if you're talking to a Bears fan, what are you looking for out of Fields during this preseason game?
Let me be honest with you.
Sure. I would appreciate that.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
And unless it doesn't matter. Unless Andy Dalton or Nick Foles are going to take this playoff team back to the playoffs, it really doesn't matter, because they're going to do the exact same thing that they did to Ryan Fitzpatrick last year, which is pull the plug on him because they need to speed up the development of the young guys. And to be honest with you, to Nagy and whoever their GM is, I can't.
Ted Phillips. Yeah. Gase. Yeah. Not Gase.
Did
Not
Pace
Gase.
get
Phillips.
fired?
No. Who? Pace is the president's Ted Phillips. Sorry. Yeah. Pace. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. To them, no matter what, as long as Justin Fields gives you promise, they buy themselves a year. Yeah. They buy themselves hope. And the NFL, despite what you think, it's about selling fans hope. Hope sells tickets. So, they're going to screw whoever the starter is the minute he struggles a little bit, or the minute they kind of feel like, people are losing interest, or Justin Fields is ready. So Justin Fields can come out balling. He could ball in the 3 preseason games. He's going to eventually be the starter. It's just only a matter of time. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't necessarily mean he's ready, because when Tua took over the team, he wasn't ready. He'll probably admit he wasn't ready. He admits he didn't have the same mastery and understanding of the offense as Ryan Fitzpatrick. Ryan Fitzpatrick knew he wasn't ready. The offensive coordinator knew he wasn't ready. But it didn't matter, because Tua's development is what this franchise is investing in, just like Justin Fields' development is what that franchise is investing in. And to be honest with you, nobody cares about anything else.
Gotcha. Merrick, do you have any more questions for Omar? I have a few more, but yeah.
From a Dolphins perspective, just what's the one thing you want to see from Saturday's preseason game? What's the one thing that could be the most encouraging thing for Dolphins fans to see on Saturday?
A run game. Don't care how to get it, just a run game. I honestly believe that the best way to alleviate the pressure placed on Tua and the defense is to actually be able to run the ball effectively. That's what I want to see, and I also want to see them stop the run. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that those are two major indicators of success in the NFL. Can you run the ball, and can you stop the run? Passing doesn't, mean anything. Passing, you can look at the top passing teams in the league, and that means absolutely nothing in terms of correlation to success. It's still this game is still won and lost in the trenches, no matter what fantasy football tells you. So I'm going to be looking for whether or not they can run the ball effectively against a Bears defense that it was pretty good and is pretty stingy and looked pretty stingy during the practices.
Would you include maybe like screen plays in with the running game there, like get it out quickly to Waddle, Wilson, anybody like that?
I guess they can. I guess those jet sweeps count. So yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, QB scrambles. Hell, we threw in Ryan Tannehill. I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick led the team in rushing in 2019. I guess you got to count it. So yeah, can you move the chains on the ground?
All right, Omar. We started the interview with your opinion on deep dish pizza. Now I want to more your opinion on things, and it's probably things that might annoy you or that you can tell me if they do or they don't. So you've mentioned now fantasy football twice, and kind of with a hint of like fantasy football talk. How often do you get asked about fantasy football?
People know not to ask me questions about fantasy football. I don't know anything about fantasy football. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had enough
I'm sure it's what keeps. Yeah, people know better. They know. I don't know PPR, PPE. I don't have a clue what your league is. Don't ask me. If you're betting a fantasy player on the Dolphins, if you're taking my advice, trust me, I'm going to screw you. I know football and I know matchups. That's all I know. And people say that correlates to fantasy football. I'm like, okay, sure. I wouldn't even take the time to get to know it.
That's great. Now, the other thing is I do not know where Florida stands right now, but do you get questions about gambling?
There's so many gambling spots in Florida, not sports betting.
Okay, so sports betting's not in Florida yet. Yeah, I'm asking because we actually have sports betting here in Iowa, and I know it's growing. And the Arizona Cardinals in 2022 will be the first sports arena in the NFL that's going to have a sports book in it. I just didn't know where Florida's at, so I didn't know. But you know people from around the United States. Do you ever have like friends of yours that are like, "Hey man, this spread looks good. What should I go?"
All the time, and I view myself as pretty helpful from that standpoint. Even though I don't bet, I think I'm not a bettor.
Okay.
I have bet from time to time, but I don't bet on. I just think it leads to mistakes.
Sure.
I work too hard for my money, so I stick it under my mattress.
I appreciate that. So if someone's out there right now, and I'm telling you, and I say to you that the Bears are -3.5 in this preseason game, and the over/under is 36. The Bears are -3.5.
The over/under is 36.
It is, yes.
36. I'm going to go with the over because there's going to be a lot of garbage players playing, so there are going to be a lot of mistakes.
Okay.
With a couple quality backup quarterbacks as well in Justin Fields and Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah. Oh, Jacoby's doing his thing. I'm pleasantly surprised at how good he is, to be honest with you. I didn't think he was any good as a quarterback, it's a pleasant surprise how good he is.
Better backup quarterback, Jacoby Brissett this year or Tua Tagovailoa last year?
Tua wasn't really a backup, so I can't even entertain that conversation. Tua wasn't ready to play. So, Tua played, but he wasn't ready to play. So I would have to say Jacoby. Jacoby came in. Jacoby can win you games. Let me think. What would Jacoby could probably get you to 8 wins, 7 wins, maybe 7, 8. I'm not 100% sure, but I like what I see from Jacoby. Honestly, it's a pleasant surprise. I didn't think he was that good of a quarterback at Indianapolis, and I'm pleasantly surprised to know I'm wrong.
Last question before we let you go, Omar. How's the little one? You got a new baby girl keeping you up at nights from what I see on Twitter. How's that going?
Yeah. It's great. I miss her dearly right now. I want to see her face. She's working on sitting up and doing all the little things little babies do. but I'm enjoying my multiple hours of sleep straight.
Catching up on those Z's
fine.
in Chicago, huh?
Oh yeah, man. I was out in Lincoln Shore or whatever for wherever their practices were, and it was so. I didn't have to leave the hotel room. I think I slept 12 hours straight when I got there. So I'm refreshed now. So I can go back and recharge my wife's dead battery.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Omar. Best of luck to you. Reporting on these practices and these games. Best of luck to you as a new father once again. Thank you so much for coming on with us. We really do appreciate it.
Absolutely.
No problem, guys.
Thanks, Omar.
Anytime.
Take care, man. Yep. Awesome. Thanks, man. That's Omar Kelly, the beat reporter for the Miami Dolphins, longest tenured, and dude was great. Like
he keeps it real.
Kept going.
He keeps it real all the time.
That's my favorite thing about it. He's like, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, please do. I'm sorry that people are going to be mad. Okay.
Yeah,
like,
he does not blow smoke up anyone's you-know-what.
Yeah.
I had a pleasure of sitting down and watching a Johnny Manziel college game with him in Indianapolis a few years back. And, just immediately. And this is when Manziel was tearing it up.
Sure.
And everyone was like, wow, he's going to be a fantastic NFL quarterback. And he just looked at me and he's like, he's going to be garbage. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's lighting this defense up. He's amazing, playing in SEC or
were they in the SEC then or Big 12?
A&M, whatever it was. Yeah. Whatever it was, he's tearing these good defenses up, and he's like, he's going to be garbage. And sure enough, hit that one on the head.
Absolutely. That was a fantastic interview, and that's the thing. I'm glad that you brought him to the show, and that it kind of fits the way that we are. Just tell it like it is. Honestly, I could have sat and listened to him talk forever about football, and it's like one of those things you just want to watch a game with him, have a beer, and just ask him some questions. And I think it's fun to get that stuff out of the way of like, how often do you get fantasy? And he's like, people know better now. He's told him, I'm not gonna put you the right direction. And the gambling, like every once in a while, because that's what you get.
Yeah, he gets some heat on Dolphins Twitter because he's not all rainbows and butterflies with the team, but again, they've been hot garbage for the better part of 20 years. So he keeps it real. He tells you like it is. And usually, he's a bit of an acquired taste for some followers. For the first, few weeks, you're like, I hate this guy. He's so negative all the time. And then in hindsight, you look back on the things he was saying, 2 years ago, and you're like, man, he was dead on. He was spot on. He told it like it was. I should have listened.
And I just think like that's the whole thing is that, when you're telling it like it is, they don't want to hear it, and they can be garbage or whatever. But he even carried that over to the fields and things that we've kind of been saying. He's like, what he said, you can sell a NFL program franchise on hope to the fans. And he's like, as long as they just keep him there, and those guys have their job. And we've been saying that since they drafted him. This is what's going to happen. All right, we got to take a break here. ESPN 1170 AM. Don't hassle us. We're local.
The Rock says he's going to make your Rudy Poo candy ass famous.
You like that? You like that?
Give me a hell yeah. I said give me a hell yeah.
This is Len Casper, the voice of the Chicago White Sox. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local on ESPN 1170.
Thousands of us cockroaches are infecting you with germs.
Spiders are hiding in your corners and clothes waiting to bite you.
Harmful termites are destroying your home.
Mice are chewing through your wiring and leaving droppings everywhere.
What's that noise?
324-2625. Got pests? Call Midwest.
They called Midwest Pest Management.
Are disgusting pests bugging you? Call Midwest Pest Management. They're professional, affordable, and they treat your home like family.
324-2625. Got pests? Call Midwest.
What girl doesn't dream of getting dressed up in diamonds on her wedding day? With the Something Borrowed program at Dolan Jewelers, dreams do come true. With the purchase of your engagement ring and diamond from Dolan Jewelers, you can borrow up to $25,000 worth of our jewelry to wear on your wedding day, absolutely free. Shop our huge selection of popular engagement rings, as well as his and her wedding bands. Financing is always available, so come visit Dolan Jewelers at 3865 Elmore in Davenport or dolanjewelers.com.
At Shell, we know from the time you get up to the time you wrap up,
Good night.
There's a lot of meetups, eat-ups, and hurry-ups. So come to Shell and get 3 things done at once. Fill up with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus to help keep your engine running like new. Save up with the Fuel Rewards program and never pay full price for gas again. and snack up with in-store rewards to save even more at the pump. Make the most of the stop you need to make with Shell and engines that continuously use Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline. See full terms and conditions at fuelrewards.com.
O'Reilly. Do you even remember the last time you changed your spark plugs? Well, then now's a good time. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and get a $15 gift card after mail-in rebate when you purchase 4 or more select Iridium spark plugs. Put the pep back in your car. Visit your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store or shop O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 5510 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 5510. Enjoy.
Alexa likes to hang outside as well. Take her to the patio and listen to the games while enjoying that summer breeze. This is the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
I'm Andrew Siciliano with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Week 1 of the preseason got underway Thursday with 2 games. The Patriots beat the Washington football team 22-13 in Foxborough. Rookie Mac Jones makes his NFL debut, 13 of 19 for 87 yards. Meantime, the Steelers beat the Eagles 24-16 in Philadelphia. Pittsburgh 2-0 behind 16-22, 161 and a touchdown from Dwayne Haskins. The Ravens open up their preseason Saturday against the Saints. Baltimore will be without rookie wide receiver Rashad Bateman. He suffered a soft tissue injury, scheduled to undergo groin surgery. Head coach John Harbaugh said he expects Bateman to be sidelined until September. Vikings second-year wideout Justin Jefferson sprained his AC joint in practice last Friday. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero reports the team expects Jefferson to be back on the field and practicing soon. This has been an NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Stream all your favorites with the Disney Bundle.
What did you expect?
Disney Plus has Loki and Luca. Hulu has originals like Summer of Soul and Love Victor. And ESPN Plus has exciting UFC matchups and new episodes of Stephen A's World. Sign up at DisneyPlus.com and get the Disney Bundle for $13.99 a month. Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus. Get the Disney Bundle today. Includes Hulu ad-supported plan. Terms apply. See DisneyPlus.com for details.
How can I make sure my office never stops working?
With Staples Connect, it's possible.
I need to keep my back office stocked without messing up my bottom line.
Also possible, because Staples Connect has your small business covered with big savings on everything you need. This week, earn 30% back in a Staples store bonus when you spend $85 on ink or $200 on toner. Explore what's new at your local Staples or staplesconnect.com. Staples Connect, the working and learning store. Limit 4 in-store only. Visit staplesconnect.com/store bonus for details. Ends 8/21.
Welcome back to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local here on ESPN 1170 AM. Just about 20 minutes to 2. We just got off the phone with Omar Kelly, beat reporter Miami. He's been up in Chicago, and he covering the Miami Dolphins, obviously, but he gets to talk to the Bears as well. So it was nice talking to him.
Give him a follow on Twitter at
Yes.
Omar Kelly.
Absolutely. Give him a follow on Twitter. Last night we had a couple preseason games that were overshadowed by Field of Dreams, of course, but it is what it is. We saw that the Patriots beat the
football team.
Yeah, they beat the Washington football team. That's right. And they covered the two. This is the weirdest thing about it. Was preseason. I don't know. Like gambling preseason is goofy. The Washington football team at one point was favored by 2. Then when we were on the air yesterday, it got to a pick 'em. Then by kickoff, it was 2. It was 15-13 at the time, and then the Patriots score a touchdown with 1 minute and 4 seconds left, and they win 22-13, and they cover the spread. The under hits. The under was 37. Then you have the Steelers. They're getting a point. Yeah, they were not favored. They're getting a point or 2 points. They won their game, and the over hit. So it's so weird to see. When I will say, when Omar was talking about take the over, I would say the numbers do favor taking the over when the number is less than 37. It hits like 60% of the time.
Interesting. And like I mentioned there, you got a couple quality backup quarterbacks that might get extended playing time against number 2, number 3 defenses there. So
let's see. Tonight we've got 3 games of NFL preseason. We're going to see the Tennessee Titans versus the Atlanta Falcons for the first time. So Arthur Smith, the first-year coach, versus Vrabel there in Tennessee. What you're going to be trying to look for there is, I don't know. Matt Ryan.
The handshake. I just want to see the coach's handshake, see what kind of animosity
is there. There's no animosity in there.
Know.
Yeah, so Arthur Smith, formerly on the staff of the quarterbacks coach right off. He was the offensive coordinator at Tennessee.
And maybe, I doubt he'll play, but, maybe we can get some sideline shots of Julio.
Yeah, that's true, too. That's a good one. That's a good job by the NFL for putting that one together. Kyle Pitts would be the one that you want to see a little bit of.
By all accounts, he's been lighting it up in training camp.
The Detroit, and by the way, the Atlanta Falcons are favored by 1 in that game.
Probably the only game all year they'll be favored to win.
Sure. The Buffalo Bills will play the Detroit Lions tonight, also at 6 o'clock. The Lions are favored by 1 here. So I would assume you're going to see more Mitchell Trubisky than you think, because he's the backup out there in Buffalo. He says nothing but good things about the staff. He was throwing some daggers at the Bears. Great to be part of an organization. I can see the direction they're going. I feel comfortable being myself here. I mean, he made some quotes that was like, I see what you're doing here, Mitchell Trubisky. I miss you, Mitch. I don't think the Bears fans do, but I do. The Lions, as far as they go, I don't know how much you'll see of Jared Goff and what's going on there. But first year head coach Matt Campbell will be there. And then the Cowboys and the Arizona Cardinals tonight at looks like 9 o'clock. So
the Emmitt Smith Bowl.
That's right. The Cardinals are favored by 2 in this game. Tonight, the over-under for the Tennessee Titans and Atlanta Falcons is at 38. The Bills-Lions game is at 36.5. And the Cowboys-Cardinals game, 38.5. Last week, the Cowboys played the Steelers in a preseason game. That did not even come close to the over-under at 32. It was a 16-3 game, and the Cowboys scored first, and then they didn't score after that. Dak Prescott's obviously not going to play. Garrett Gilbert threw for 104 yards last week in the preseason.
Did you watch episode 1 of Hard Knocks?
Did not.
I just caught up this morning.
Did you like it?
It's fine. It's Hard Knocks. It's football.
So is that enough for I'm going to turn it on because it's Hard Knocks?
I won't watch it live ever, but I have HBO Max, so it's on there.
Okay.
And I'll catch up to it when I can. Like I said, I watched episode 1 today. They had some cute things where Zeke Elliott and Dak Prescott were getting each other birthday gifts, because apparently their birthdays are a week apart and they're best friends. And Dak tried to walk in on Zeke while he was wrapping his present, which, by the way, Zeke had to look up a YouTube video on how to wrap a present, which was cute. Mm-hmm. But it's fun when you see like mega millionaires have to do like very simple tasks. Like you would think he'd have somebody who could wrap the present for him.
I'm sure he does, but
for TV.
But for TV, and I think a preseason, like your entourage isn't going to be around because COVID.
Yeah.
So you don't want a lot of people, but I would assume he would. And on top of it, I don't know. Isn't there? I don't shop a lot at Amazon, but wouldn't there be like a button to be like, do you want us to wrap it for you too? I mean,
I don't know if he got it from Amazon. Apparently, it was some very expensive luggage bag.
Oh,
yeah. And Dak was very excited. He said, "I love bags."
Oh,
I was like, what's going on?
Yeah, that is a little strange. All right. So speaking of subscription services, do you have Stars?
I don't have Stars.
Have you seen any of these commercials for the new series that's starting on Sunday?
What's the series?
Heels.
Oh, I've seen some stuff, right? CM Punk's in that.
Oh, is he?
I saw a picture yesterday or today where he got like his tattoos covered up. Not like just with makeup.
Yeah.
Not like he didn't get them blacked out or anything. But yeah, he got his tattoos covered up to play some sort of character on the show.
They didn't schedule him to be in the show as a star.
Just some sort of, I assume he's the opponent to the main character at some point.
Do you think they got Chavo Guerrero to do the
Yeah,
choreographing?
man, he's everywhere, and I'm just saying, I'm available.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, like I'll choreograph some stuff for the next season of Glow. Let's go.
Yeah, he did Glow, and then he did
the Rock Show, right?
He did the Rock Show. Yeah, he did that.
I'm available. Let's do this. I was in a couple movies. I was on a TV show. Let's go. I have experience in the entertainment world.
We get a second season.
I run a training center. Come on.
I know you could definitely be in this show.
Send me what's his name, Stephen Amell. What's his
who?
The guy who's the star of Heels. He looks like
I don't know his name.
He looks like Chris O'Donnell.
Yeah. One of them does. They're brothers. Yeah.
Chris O'Donnell and myself, we have the same birthday.
Oh, okay.
And Derek Jeter.
Me.
When you're a kid, you look up celebrities with the same birthday. So Robin from Batman and Robin and Derek Jeter from Kalamazoo, Michigan. I don't know why I remember that either.
There's some weird connection with what's his name? Chris what?
Chris O'Donnell.
There's some weird connection. Isn't he from like Moline or something like that?
Oh, I don't know. So that'd be even more interesting.
Like he's got some background to something close to here.
Oh, back to the Field of Dreams game
real
quick while we just cover the last few minutes here. But I don't know if you saw it, but during the broadcast they said famous celebrities from Iowa, and I did not know that Joe Burrow was from Ames.
I didn't know that. I actually no. Hold on a second. I didn't know Johnny Carson was. I don't know why. I feel like I did know that growing up, but I forgot about it. I do remember during his run that oh yeah, that's right. I know someone that he was like someone that knows his babysitter growing up. Yeah, because I have a buddy who's from the Ames area, and he's like, yeah, I don't know if it was his brother or something like that. He's like, yeah. So I did know that, and I forgot about it.
Did he live in Ames until like a certain age, and then move
4 or 5
to
and
Ohio?
Then move to Ohio,
yeah. And then, an egregious error. They didn't put my buddy Seth Rollins on the list.
Which is crazy.
Because it was on Fox.
It was on Fox.
And SmackDown's on Fox.
Absolutely.
And he wrestles on SmackDown.
I think that's a huge... Listen, if you want to talk about that, the Nike swoosh and new era, all I'm saying, if Fox Sports Production, if they had one flaw, it was not putting Seth Rollins on there, because that would be a perfect transition into Friday Night SmackDown.
Yeah, it's a crossover promotion there.
Yeah. That is interesting.
Is he the most famous Iowan currently? Still alive, still on top of their game?
Okay. That's an interesting question. Yeah, I probably would say so.
What was the gymnast?
Johnson.
Yeah. From Des Moines. Shawn Johnson?
Shawn Johnson, yep.
So she's not at the top of her game anymore, but I mean, at her peak, she was probably more popular.
And Luca's more a name around here than you have than anything else, Luca Garza. So I would say he is at, he's the guy.
And Pat's number 2. He's like number 1 mortgage lender.
Yes, number 1 in my book. So, no, that's an interesting question because, he definitely would be, and that is odd that they didn't put him on there. Speaking of situations like that, you have an event coming up.
We do, man. Tomorrow night, SCW Pro's 18th anniversary event. 18 years of SCW Pro Wrestling here in the Quad Cities, Eastern Iowa, Western Illinois. It's going to be a great time. We're out at Wildwood in Iowa City. This is our first indoor event since March of 2020. We were shut down for a while because of COVID, and then we went to outdoor events exclusively this spring and this summer. But this is our first time back indoors. Saturday night, 7 o'clock, $10 tickets. A lot of people said, hey, you can raise the ticket price because it's your anniversary show and you're bringing in a big-name independent talent in Effie. And I said, no, I want to make sure that everyone can afford it. It's a family-friendly event, so I want the whole family out there. So 7 o'clock, Wildwood in Iowa City. It's not downtown Iowa City, so it's kind of on the outskirts. I know they have some issues with, they kind of shut down downtown again recently. So you won't have to deal with any of that. Plus, Wildwood has great drink specials and amazing barbecue, so come out for the wrestling and grab the food and drink as well. But it's our 18th anniversary event. Shane Hollister is facing Johnny Wisdom for the SCW Championship. Mason Beck and Connor Braxton are going at it in an Extreme Rules match. And then the former Iowa Hawkeye football standout, Steve Manders, will be taking on, as I mentioned, the independent superstar, Effie. So
Yep.
We're very excited for it. Really hope we get a nice turnout and people come out and they support their local independent wrestling.
Yeah, and where the event is, that's actually the first time I saw an SCW Pro event live. And like you mentioned, the food and drink. Get there early, get something to eat. They have great barbecue.
Great barbecue. I really like the corn nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a mozzarella stick, but it's filled with like corn instead. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Dip
and
it in
then
some ranch.
I do recommend if you're there, unless you really like being in the front row, it's great to watch it from above because they have a second
balcony.
story. Yeah, the balcony is my favorite.
That's our only venue where you can actually see the action from above and look down. You can see all of it, and you get a unique angle. And if you were lucky enough to be there the time that Nevin Knoxville jumped off of the balcony
not there for that one.
through a table in the ring, that was a pretty incredible moment. So we're going to create some more incredible moments tomorrow night. Again, 7 o'clock, Wildwood Smokehouse and Saloon in Iowa City. $10 tickets. You can't beat that. Grab a couple friends. Bring the whole family. It's going to be fun. And, it's live entertainment. And there's not a lot of that around here right now.
And I don't want to dive too deep into the professional wrestling talk, but it is you still have the school, the SCW Pro, down at the Black and Brave Academy, downtown Davenport, and you've got people coming in all the time. You're on a break before the next class comes in, and you're doing your writing again. Tell everyone again where you're writing.
I'm writing for the Left Arm of God, and I'm also writing for the Phinsider, PHINSIDER, Phinsider.com, all things Miami Dolphins.
And then follow you at Merrick Brave. MBrave13.
Yeah, MBrave13 on Twitter. But Instagram.
With this being this busy, and going into which is one of the biggest events in WWE, and it's outdoors, Las Vegas. But is it kind of different for you that you're so busy that you're not as on top of professional wrestling? What's going on? Not to say that you're not, but I would say you're not. Yeah.
I don't religiously watch the programs as I have in the past. I try to keep up with all the news, scrolling through Twitter and seeing what everybody's saying about everything. And, of course, we have plenty of discussions down at the gym about the goings-on. But so it is a little bit of a unique situation. SummerSlam looks fantastic. Really excited for that. Interesting that it's on a Saturday night this year.
Yeah.
Normally a Sunday, but I believe Vegas said that they would only host it if they did it on a Saturday and not a Sunday. Not sure why.
Okay.
But that's the story behind that. So, and actually, we'll be a part of Lopai's 2-year anniversary next Saturday in downtown Davenport as it's going on. So I won't even be able to watch SummerSlam live, but I'll catch up the next day.
So they're going to have an outdoor event down at Lopai's next Saturday.
Oh, yeah. Big outdoor event. I believe it starts at 6 o'clock. It's going to be music, wrestling, maybe some stand-up comedy, plenty of vendors, food trucks. Yeah, it's a big deal. We are actually performing. We have one block of matches starting at 8 o'clock and another block of matches starting at 10 o'clock. In between our wrestling, there's going to be plenty of bands. There's going to be pizza, beer, all of that. So check them out. Lopai's on Facebook. Next Saturday night, it's going to be a big
that'll
party.
Be August 21st.
Downtown.
And we'll have. Do you have an event on Friday the 20th then too?
We sure do. Staying busy over here, Jay.
Yeah, thanks for asking. Yeah.
We'll be at the Beer Stube next Friday night. Special Friday event, 8 o'clock start time, $10 tickets as always.
Tear it down, put it right back up.
And that'll be our first event after our 18th anniversary. So you may see some new champions.
Who knows?
Making their first defenses that night, but we'll have to see what happens this Saturday.
Wow. You're a busy guy, man. You're a busy guy. And on top of it, still dealing with comments from the people who don't like your writing and the people who love it, though, too. So that's it. Like I said, I think we started off the show. We went long, and that's the beauty of the conversation with Merrick and the people that called in and everything else. It was a phenomenal night last night, and the Field of Dreams was great. We can only know what to go from there. I don't know what you do as far as like you said, Pro Football Talk. I think you said was talking about
Pro
what to
Football
do.
Talk tweeted out something today, like what's the football equivalent of the Field of Dreams game, and they said maybe like a Rudy type game where you'd have an NFL game at the Notre Dame Stadium and you'd have a little throwback feel and maybe the home team would wear some Notre Dame inspired gear, maybe a gold helmet for that team. And then somebody commented that they should do a longest yard game and have the game at a prison, which actually does sound awesome.
What? That really does sound awesome.
That sounds way better than the Rudy game, if I'm just being honest.
That is something else. Can you imagine?
NFL game at a penitentiary.
Yeah, it's just
that's
like
amazing.
People would lose their minds though and be like, "Well, these people, they're felons. They get to watch an NFL game, but it's just they're
but
just
I gotta
like,
pay $400 for a ticket.
They're on a dirt field or whatever else. They just
I'd love it.
bust them in. Just
it'd be great.
That is actually
you'd
real.
have
what then what do you do after that? Then you have the Batman game or whatever else where the field's just blowing up as you're running down.
Yeah. Is Burt Reynolds still alive?
He is not.
He's not. Okay,
Yeah.
so you'd have Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
How do you think Adam Sandler's pregame speech would compare to Kevin Costner's?
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah.
Shabadoo.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Welcome to the game.
That's exactly the way it would go. I can't imagine that. That's what the other craziest thing football where it would be. I mean, there was a show radio and they were about wrestling. They're like thinking about everyone's now doing this thing like where it would be nostalgic, and obviously they're still doing things at Madison Square Garden. That's the one that you all think of when it comes to wrestling. The Omni in Atlanta, when the old NWA WCW days, that would be another one, and the Sportatorium down in Texas.
Sportatorium, absolutely. Fun fact: that is where Latin Thunder got trained to be a wrestler. Was at the Sportatorium by Akbar.
I just thought like right away those were the three, and I was like, that was the easy one. That was a no-brainer to me. The football thing is, but the idea of the prison yard from the longest yard is fantastic. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, maybe Folsom or something like that.
Yeah. Now, as far as is there got to be a prison that's like shut down? They could just do it and it's got history. Like, does Alcatraz have?
Oh wow!
That would be
I don't know if
something
they've
else.
got the land for that.
Yeah,
but,
I don't think
that
so
would
either.
be amazing.
That would be, oh my goodness, that gets my head going. But again, as we end this week, hats off to Fox Sports and everything they did. Last night was awesome. Looking forward to next year. I don't think it's a thing where it's gonna where it's welcome out in my eyes. I'm only looking forward to it now. But to me, also, I came in lukewarm, and I thought that thing came in hot, and I walked out hot of it. So I'm not going to lose the luster for it or the eagerness for it. And I would love if they just announced after that. I seriously would love it if they said, this is going to happen again, but from here on out, every 2 years.
Yeah.
But the only thing, and we talked about this, the only dog ear to that is if they're like, nope, every year, but you don't get to play it again. You
have to rotate.
Yeah, it's going to be two teams that have never played here before.
Yeah, it would be nice if every team got an opportunity to play there. Ratings would vary based on who was playing, and ticket sales would vary based on who was playing eventually.
Yeah.
Right now, you could put the Diamondbacks versus who knows in there, and it'd sell out.
But I would also like to said, like I said earlier, I would like to see someone like Joey Votto going to social media pleading to Major League Baseball, like, please schedule me. That's fun when you see someone that wants to be there, whatever else.
I would venture to say that after last night, a lot of the players were probably pretty jealous.
Yeah.
They're like, man, actually, that looks awesome. I want to play there. I want to get there before I retire.
I would agree that.
Can you imagine like Tatis just launching bombs into the corn?
Just flipping bats all the way to Piasta.
I would love it.
All right. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. Thanks to Omar Kelly for calling in. Follow him on Twitter at Omar Kelly. And this weekend, there's 3 NFL games tonight. Obviously, there's baseball still going on. Hopefully, you guys are into baseball again. And there's 3 NFL games tonight. There's games all over. If you need to look at any lines, if you're interested in anything we talked about, you can go to EliteSportsbook.com. There are a buttload of games on Saturday. We're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 NFL games tomorrow, starting at noon all the way up till looks like 9 o'clock at night. Chargers and Rams. So the Bears will be the ones that kick off at noon. All right. It was a lot of fun, Merrick. Appreciate you.
Always fun, man.
Yeah, I don't know what next week looks like or what your schedule, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll get me on.
Yeah, see what's going on. We didn't even talk fantasy football.
We'll get it. It's coming up.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it a little bit on Tuesday with Adrian and I, but we have to. It's one of those things that it's the biggest talk because drafts are now 2 weeks away.
Yep.
There's no doubt about that. So, all right, enjoy yourselves, Quad Cities. Have a great weekend. Stay safe at 10 sites. Hey, good luck to Illinois. Good luck to Iowa Tugfest.
There you go.
Wait, before I go, I forgot about this. There's a national deck hockey thing going on at Crow Creek Park in Bettendorf.
That's
By the
correct.
way, If you haven't been there, incredible atmosphere.
My kid plays every Sunday.
It is awesome. I'm telling you right now, if you have the time to take him up there. The people there are great. And then also the ISC World Championship, International Softball Congress Men's Fast Pitch World Championships are out in Eldridge this weekend. A lot of things going on that I didn't even plug today. So I'll be a monkey's uncle. All right, we'll see you guys on Monday. Take care, Quad.
Peace.